Hey guys. Um, in my last video about about donating my kidney anonymously, I said that I was going to be meeting with not my psychiatrist, but the psychiatrist from the transplant team a second time. So I had that appointment today, and um, so I waited in the waiting room for a bit, and then I was called back, and the psychiatrist was there as well as the social worker that I had met with one-on-one before, like, I don't know, 2 months ago or something. And I knew from, like, when she had told me previously that that the social worker might be there, so I wasn't, like, surprised to see her. But anyway, so the three of us walked back down the hall from the waiting room into the psychiatrist's office. And we all sat down, and the psychiatrist, like, the first thing he asked was, like, how are you and stuff. And then he was like, do you have any questions from the last time we met? And I did have a couple, but, like, I told him that my burning question was finding out why it was that he wanted to see me again. And so then he told me that it was because he wanted to get to know me more because he had, like, some doubts about if I was going to be a suitable donor because of my, past psychiatric history where, like, I didn't cope well with, like, challenges and stuff, and I ended up becoming really depressed and, like, suicidal a couple of times. But, like, I assured him that that's, like, over, that part of my life is, over and done with. It's in the past, and I've moved on, and I'm a lot different now than I used to be several years ago when those things were happening. And he said, like, yeah, I understand that. And then he said that he and the transplant team had, talked together, as I knew they would, and they had come to the conclusion that I wasn't going to be able to donate. And for, like, a second, like, I was just, like, speechless. Like, I didn't know what to say. I felt like, I don't know, like, I felt just this awful feeling. Like, I don't remember ever feeling this feeling before, but I was just devastated. And then, like, the only thing I could say to him was just, like, why? What made you come to this decision? What was it that I said that it made you believe that I wouldn't be able to cope with this challenge? Because I had given him plenty of examples from the past, few months of times when I had experienced, like, really big challenges, but I had coped with them well, and I had gotten over them. Like, I had, gotten over whatever the obstacles were that were in my way, and whatever, like, the hardships were, or whatever that I was facing. So I just asked him why. And then when he was, like, he was starting to answer that question, I just, like, I felt the tears starting to come, and it's really embarrassed me because I don't really ever cry that often. Like, it takes a lot to make me cry. And like, I guess it was, like, in that moment when, like, the tears started coming that I was just hit with the realization that I was a lot more passionate about doing this, about, like, going through this major surgery to help somebody else who's in renal failure. Like, I don't know, I just, like, really wanted to, I had this opportunity, I guess, to really change someone's life in a positive way by giving them my kidney. And I guess that opportunity just got taken away from me today. And I realized today how passionate I was about this, and how invested I was in this, I don't know, this endeavor of mine, I guess, to, try to go through the long process of, meeting with all the different people on the transplant team individually, and then, I don't know, it's a month, like the process is like months long, and I was so ready to, take on this major project, I guess, this goal of mine, and it was just taken away from me today, and that made me like really sad. And basically, like what they said is since this is a completely, like, it's not a surgery that's medically necessary for me, they'd basically be putting me like on the operating table and cutting into me for, like no good reason for me. It'd be a good reason for the person who would be getting my kidney, but they wouldn't have like, there would be no physical benefit to me of going through this surgery. So that's why I guess they screen like all the wannabe anonymous donors really, really carefully to make sure that like they wouldn't be able to foresee like any risks to the donor. And I guess they foresaw risks with me. They didn't think that with my history of mental health issues, they didn't have enough proof, I guess, or enough confidence that I would be able to recover from the surgery and, I guess go on living my life in a not psychologically harmful way. Especially if for some reason, like I found out that the recipient, who would also be anonymous, I would never know like who exactly the recipient was. But if but I would know like if the recipient's body had rejected or accepted the new organ, and they were concerned that if the recipient or the potential recipient's body had unfortunately rejected my kidney, then they were afraid that I would just like be completely and utterly devastated and, I don't know, maybe go kill myself or something. And I tried to convince them that side of me, like that's in the past, and I haven't felt suicidal. I haven't felt like harming myself in any way for a few years now. And they just said they believed me, but they couldn't take the risk. And I just kept telling them there is no risk. And they said, well, you don't know. And I said, I do know. But I don't know. I think that what they're really worried about is the chance that I would like sue them or something if I did go through with the procedure and then I had negative psychological consequences after the surgery. I don't think they want to be sued. I wouldn't sue them, but I don't know. I guess they don't know me, and that's another thing is they don't know me. They met with me one time, and they have the doctor's notes from the last time that I was in the hospital after a suicide attempt. And the doctor in that hospital that I saw a few years ago, she didn't know me either. That was the first time that she'd ever seen me, and that was when I was at my absolute rock bottom. So of course her notes aren't going to be very positive. They're going to say that, I was a mentally ill individual who was in need of a lot of help at that time. So I don't really think that it was beneficial for him to have those notes from that last hospitalization of mine. And I'm really, really upset about that. But anyway, I guess this concludes my journey of trying to go through the process of becoming an anonymous donor, which is really sad. He said that he would refer me to the transplant program at a different hospital in the area. They also have an anonymous kidney donor program, but I mean, I imagine that if he's giving the referral to the psychiatrist over there, the psychiatrist over there is going to ask for, you know, this psychiatrist's impression. And I don't know if this psychiatrist rejected me as a candidate. I don't know, like, what would make the psychiatrist at this new hospital that I'm going to try out accept me. I imagine that the outcome is going to be the same. I'm going to try to donate through this other program, but I'm cautiously hopeful now. I'm not going to get my hopes up as much as I did with this program. I really thought that it was going to go through. I really thought that it was going to work, and that they would see that I'm a lot different than, I guess, who the psychiatrist in the emergency room, you know, saw me as several years ago. I'm a lot different than that now, but I don't know. Like, if I was still the same person as I was back then, 4 years ago or something, 5 years ago, I would have probably attempted suicide today after I found out this, like, bad news, because it was really bad news for me. It really upset me, and I was devastated, and I still am. I'm not going to show my devastation on video, but believe me, I'm really, really upset about this, and the old me would have probably, you know, very likely have attempted suicide because of this, but proof that I've changed is in the fact that I haven't done anything to harm myself today. I haven't had any desire to harm myself in any way through, like, cutting or overdosing on medication or anything. But someone's not gonna get a new kidney. And I said to them, I said to the social worker and to the psychiatrist, like, you say that you're concerned about my well-being, but are you not concerned about the well-being of patients who are on dialysis because their kidneys are failing? Their well-being is important too, and they're dying. And they said that it's just because it's a completely unnecessary surgery, medically speaking, for me to go through. They have to make sure that they you know, don't have any concerns. They have to have zero concerns about my well-being. And I mean, I accept that's the way it is now, but I'm hoping that the psychiatrist that I hopefully get to talk to at the new program that I'm gonna hopefully be trying out at the other hospital, I'm hoping that he'll see something different in me. He'll see more of the new me than the person I am now, rather than the person I used to be. I really think that the psychiatrist here, well, not here, but at the hospital that, you know, I went to today for my appointment, I really think that he was focusing, like, during his assessment, he was focusing too much on how I used to be, and not as who I am now. I don't really have anything else to say about that. Just really upset and a little bitter about it. But anyway, that's that. So today kind of sucked. And yeah, I'll probably make a video if I do end up being able to see the psychiatrist and moving forward with the donation process at the other hospital. I'll make some more videos, but that could be in several months. I don't know how long it would take for me to be able to get an appointment with that new psychiatrist. So yeah, that's that. Bye.